my friend, at some point during the 2021 NFL Draft. A cornerback who had been named the best defensive back in the Big Ten, who was a consensus All-American, and whom NFL analysts projected to go in the first round, heard his name called only in the 5th round, with the 160th overall pick. Before playing a single game for the franchise that selected him, he was traded to another team. In 3 years with his new organization, he played in 20 games and recorded 1 pass defended. He passed through the waiver wire, bounced on and off the practice squad of another franchise, lost an entire season to injury, and ended up in an alternative football league. And this Tuesday, Howie Roseman signed that cornerback, bringing him to Philadelphia with an institutional connection that perfectly explains why this move happened. This is the most human story the Eagles have been part of this entire offseason, and it deserves to be told in full depth. Drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and let's break down every layer of what is happening here and what it means for Philadelphia's roster in 2026. This cornerback was born in Jacksonville, Florida, and arrived at Ohio State in 2017 as one of the most coveted 5-star recruits in the country. In high school, he had won the National Defensive Back of the Year award from Lockheed Martin, played for a team that won 4 consecutive state championships, and established himself as one of the best coverage talents of his generation. In Columbus, he began as a slot cornerback in his sophomore year, transitioned to outside coverage in his final season, and even with a turf toe injury that limited him physically throughout the year, he finished with 91 tackles, 18 passes defended, 6 interceptions, 5 tackles for loss, and 2 sacks across 35 career games. He was named a consensus All-American and became the first Ohio State player ever to win the Big Ten Defensive Back of the Year award in program history. His name is Shaun Wade, and he is Howie Roseman's latest addition to the Eagles roster. To fully understand Shaun Wade's trajectory, you need to understand what happened between that 2020 season at Ohio State and the moment the Eagles signed him this Tuesday. The story begins with a fall that nobody expected. Before the 2021 draft, multiple analysts placed Wade among the potential first-round cornerbacks. He ran a 40-yard dash in 4.43 seconds at his pro day, with a 37.5-inch vertical jump and a 10-foot 3-inch broad jump. The athletic numbers were first-round caliber, but the position change from slot to outside cornerback, combined with the physical limitation of the turf toe injury, had left questions about his technical consistency that would be difficult to erase in weeks of interviews and pre-draft workouts. The result was the fall to the 5th round, 160th overall, selected by the Baltimore Ravens. What happened next was even more surprising. Before playing a single regular season game with Baltimore, Wade was traded to the New England Patriots in exchange for a late-round pick. That kind of preseason move rarely carries a positive message. The Ravens had evaluated Wade in training camp, decided he was not what they expected, and chose to recover some draft value before simply releasing him. For a player who months earlier was being discussed as a first-round candidate, being traded for a late-round pick before playing a single regular season snap was a brutal dose of reality. In New England, Wade found stability and instability in nearly equal measure. He played in 20 games across 3 seasons with the Patriots, made 6 starts, accumulated 377 defensive snaps and 36 on special teams, recorded 26 tackles, 1 pass defended, and 0 interceptions. Numbers that do not answer the question every scout wanted answered. Does Wade still have the talent that made Ohio State so excited about him? The problem is that 3 years with the Patriots never provided a large enough sample to answer that conclusively. He was never a genuine starter. He never received long enough stretches to develop rhythm. And in 2024, he was released, spending the season going back and forth from the Los Angeles Chargers practice squad without finding stability. In 2025, he signed with the Chicago Bears and was cut from injured reserve during training camp after suffering an injury that kept him out of yet another full season. That is when the UFL entered the story. Wade was selected by the Dallas Renegades in Phase 6 of the UFL draft in January of 2026 and became, according to reports, one of the most effective cornerbacks in the league during the spring season. The UFL has consolidated itself in recent years as an alternative route back to the NFL for players with real professional track records who fell out of the league due to injury, bad timing, or simply never receiving the consistent opportunity they needed. And the Eagles, in particular, have been mining that league intelligently this offseason. Before Wade, Philadelphia had already signed wide receiver Erik Ezukanma, who played for the DC Defenders of the UFL. But the element that makes the Shaun Wade signing genuinely interesting, and not just another generic depth move, is the connection to Mike Pellegrino. When Wade was with Pellegrino, knows Wade inside and out. He knows his strengths. He knows his technical weaknesses. He knows how Wade processes routes and how he responds to adversity on the field. And in early 2026, Pellegrino was hired by the Eagles as their secondary coach. That overlap is not a coincidence. When a coach who deeply knows a player available on the market arrives at a new franchise, it is very common for that player to follow the same path. Roseman clearly saw the value in having a coach who can develop Wade far more efficiently than any other franchise could, because Pellegrino already has the blueprint for this player. What Wade represents for the Eagles' 2026 roster needs to be placed in realistic perspective. This is not the kind of signing that changes the direction of a season. The Eagles already have Quinyon Mitchell as arguably the best cornerback in the league, Rick Woolen as the number 2 in outside coverage, and Cooper DeJean as the most versatile weapon in the secondary. Philadelphia's cornerback room is already among the 3 best in the NFL before Wade even walks through the door. What Howie Roseman is doing here is exactly what he has always done in building roster depth, adding low-cost pieces with developmental potential, creating internal competition, and protecting the roster against injuries. If Wade does not make the final 53-man roster, the cost is minimal. If he surprises during training camp and shows that the Ohio State talent is still there, Roseman will have found another raw diamond where other general managers saw no value. Vic Fangio's defensive system is particularly well-suited to the development of technically sound cornerbacks who need repetition and confidence to reach their expected ceiling. Fangio is recognized across the league for elevating cornerbacks who arrive with technical questions but with the athleticism required to operate in demanding man-to-man coverage schemes. Wade has the athleticism. He has the elite college foundation. He has a coach who believes in him and who knows his game from the inside. What he does not have yet is concrete proof that the consistency issues that derailed his professional career have been resolved. Training camp is going to answer that question, with the Eagles adding Shaun Wade in an attempt to find one more raw diamond in the secondary after already building what may be the best cornerback trio in the league with Mitchell, Woolen, and DeJean. Do you think Wade has what it takes to surprise in training camp and earn a spot on Philadelphia's 53-man roster? Or is this another low-risk, high-reward bet that ends with a release before the regular season begins? Drop your opinion in the comments. Do not forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. I will be back later with the latest Eagles news.